Skyla I'Lece, right? All
Yes.
right, I nailed it. All right, because like I said, I looks Italian. I was
Yes.
like, okay, what's going on now? So my name is Dempsey. I'm the editor in chief of the Disney Insider, a website that covers everything and anything Disney, which perfectly sums up your show, The Crossover. Before we talk about it, I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been doing this? Is this your first major gig? How did you get involved with it? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am originally from North Carolina. I lived there until I was 13. Right after my 13th birthday, we moved to California. I started off in musical theater. I started musical theater when I was about 4 or 5, something like that. My mom put me in a musical theater camp during the summer, just as something for me to do. I always did something during the summer, whether it was tennis or swimming or some kind of camp. But she was like, okay, let's do musical theater camp. I came home loving it, like singing all the time, like would not stop singing. I wasn't good, but couldn't stop me, couldn't tell me nothing. So then the show, the musical theater camp, they started to make me like the lead in their little plays. My mom was like, "Oh, okay, she can do her little thing, her little thingy thing." So then I was like, Mom, I really want to do this. Like, I want to keep doing it. I don't just want to do it in the summer. So then I started doing it during school time. My mom put me in a dance conservatory where they put on recitals and musicals and plays. They put on everything. So I was there until we actually left for California. And then I got into TV film when I was 7. And it was a change for me to go from musical theater to TV film because, TV film is more relaxed and you don't have to do so much big eyes or big emotions and things like that. So that was an adjustment for me. But once it clicked, it kind of said, I was like, okay, this is different than over the top stage because on stage you have to, people in the back have to be able to see your reactions, but the camera's right in your face. You don't have to do big eyes, you don't have to do extra smile, you don't have to do any of that. So that was an adjustment. And then my agent and my manager, they're out here, so that also like prompted our move over here as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about. Oh, and you asked, this is my first major gig. I was also in 3 episodes of P Valley. I was a dance majorette on the main character's dance team. And I've done a show called Turn Washington Spies. I was a 9-year-old slave girl, and I just had to sit there and cry, and so just little things like that. But this is definitely my first big TV role.
That's awesome. You hit the jackpot working for like the biggest company, one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world, if not the biggest. But yeah, how does that feel? How is working for Disney all rainbows and butterflies? Do you get like you get to go to Disney World for free? What's that like?
Disney's fantastic. I get sent little cute little gifts on like special holidays or like when the show starts to come out. So working for Disney has been fantastic. It's been a great experience.
That's awesome. No, I was just nagging. Of course, obviously, I would assume you're having the time of your life. You're still employed there, so you're doing
Yes.
something right. They would have dropped you if it was not that case. How did you become involved with the show? Were you familiar with the book that it's based off of? Talk to me about that, or was it just an opportunity presented to you by your team?
Yeah, it was just that. It was an opportunity presented to me by my team, and I auditioned for it just like any other audition. I sent in a self-tape. I got a callback, got a producer session, and then I got a mix and match, which is where I got on Zoom and I was actually, and this was all virtual, because this shot, I think I booked it like early 2021, so we were pandemic. So the producers and the writers didn't actually meet me until I booked the role. They didn't meet me in person until I booked the role. So they were only seeing my top half so when they booked me. But we had a mix and match or a chemistry read where they bring in different girls, and they had already booked the twin boys, Jalen Hall and Amir O'Neal. So basically, it was just me, the role of Vondi, who's now played by Trevor Bush, and then the role of Maya, who's played by Deja Monique Cruz. And they were mixing us in and out. with the boys and seeing like just basically who vibe, not necessarily who was the best actress or the best actor, but who uh, was vibing with the boys, who would have great chemistry on set. So it was really fun.
Speaking of Jalen, killing it right now. He just had a movie come out on Hulu. He was in a Till
Yeah,
last year. The guy is blowing up. When I saw him, I was like, not in a bad way. I was like, this kid again? I just finished watching it the other day. So it's cool.
yeah,
It's cool. I feel like whenever I watch something with like some young talent that I recognize, I say immediately, I see it. Everybody on this show is going to be big, because if Disney was able to spot him last year before, he was doing big things now, so then they got a keen eye for all of you. That's just to say that I'm excited for what all of you guys are going to do. And I got the pleasure to see the first 2 episodes. I really enjoyed it. I have a feeling I know what the twist may be, just a little ink, because I've seen so much TV and movies all over the course of my life. We're not going to talk about that. Back to you. When you got the role, or when the possibility was presented to you, did you read the book? Because Alexis isn't really a character in the book, right? To my understanding, she's called something else.
yeah. Well, she is Alexis, but I think she's only mentioned as Alexis in maybe like the first few pages, or maybe one time throughout the book. But throughout the rest of the book, because the book is narrated by Josh Bell, aka Filthy McNasty, aka Jalen Hall. So the whole book is narrated by Josh's character. Well, Jalen's character. Um, so Josh refers to Alexis as Miss Sweet Tea because she always has a cup of sweet tea in her hand, and it's kind of like this. He's saying it like kind of like name calling her, because he doesn't really like Alexis in the book. Josh is not a big fan of Alexis in the book at all, because he feels like Alexis is taking his brother's time away from him and basketball and all those things. So yeah, so she's referred to as Miss Sweet Tea in the book.
And so that character, um, I've never read the book. I just did like a couple of a little bit background, like cliff notes and stuff like that. But in the show, she's like, I kind of feel bad for her. She's in the middle of a lot of stuff. She's in the middle of her parents. She's in the middle of these twin brothers. Was that something you related to, or is it something that attracted you to the character?
I definitely see a lot of hints of myself in Alexis for sure. She's very supportive. She's strong. She's sweet. Normally, but if she gets tested, she'll speak up about it and she'll say something about it. She'll support and protect the people that she loves, which I do that as well. And she's very loyal, as well. And I consider myself to be a loyal person too. So that really is what connected me to her, because I felt like I didn't really have to act. Like I wasn't doing a character that was that different from myself.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And you're really good in the show. I don't know if I've said that yet, but I really I like I said, I enjoyed all the cast, especially the core kids that it follows, and yourself included. I think you guys did a really good job. I'm excited to see. I'm kind of pissed I got to wait like a month to finish the series, but I'm very excited that you got me hooked, because well, we'll get there in a second. The teaser dropped today, right? What can you tell us about the show for people who are unfamiliar with the book, who had no idea that this was coming out on Disney Plus?
I can tell you that this show is completely centered around family. That's the biggest thing throughout this show and throughout the book. I mean, it's covered with basketball to get people to watch it, right? But we also try and connect with other tween and teens out there, and other adults too, that see themselves in these kids, because all these kids have completely different stories, completely different backgrounds that different people may be able to relate to. So that's definitely what we try and exude when we're on the screen, is somebody else's story. When we act, we're not telling our own story, we're telling somebody else's reality. That's what we're trying to do. So yeah.
And what I was gonna say is that, like, I wasn't sure how I was gonna like this. Not that I'm not a fan of basketball, but like, I'm a grown man, and
Yeah,
I thought this was like one of those tween drama shows, right? It's not the next Degrassi or Euphoria, right?
right,
Thankfully, I think we
right.
have too much of those.
Yeah.
But I was surprised at how quickly I was able to connect with the characters, how much I enjoyed it. So what do you? So you said it's family plays a very big aspect, but um, anything you want to say for people who may think that it is like a lighthearted show, because it is a lighthearted show, but I think like you alluded to, there's something deeper to it.
There's
Anything that you can say?
even me just the trailer that dropped today, it's a lot deeper than a lot of these, other shows that are out, these teen tween shows that are out. It's heavy. It's there's so many things that are going on, and that's what's happening like in real life today. Like so many people suffer with, mental health issues at home, and we are able to show them that they are not alone. Like people do go through this, and you can connect with other people through like shared people connect through shared trauma, and that's the fact, that's the truth. And but that's a way to find a support system and find a sort of family through that shared trauma, so you both so everyone can get better and feel better about themselves, feel better about their situations, and all those things.
Now, David Diggs,
Yeah.
narrator, obviously. I recognize his voice from like a mile away.
Yeah.
But he's not in the show. He's just
He's not.
narrating.
He's
So,
yes, voiceover work, yes.
so can we expect any other big names to kind of voice over other characters? Like, I forget which show did this. The Never Have I Ever. Are you familiar with the Netflix
Okay,
show?
yeah. The narrator was I forget his name, but I know what you're
It's
talking
like
about.
they have all these famous celebrities narrating these kids, and it makes no sense, but it's hilarious and it works. Can we expect that from other characters, or is it only ever his voice for the remainder of the first season?
We can mostly expect his voice. Um, but yes, we can mostly expect his voice. But hopefully they do kind of switch it up a little bit towards the end of the season or towards future seasons to come. But yeah, you definitely can expect David to be narrating the entirety of the show.
And do can we expect any guest stars? This is a show about basketball, and I feel like it would be a missed opportunity if we don't get someone like LeBron James popping up. And I mean, given Disney's popularity, Disney's connections with ESPN, it's impossible for me to fathom that they wouldn't insert some big names in this. Is there anything or any appearance you can tease?
I know. Okay, I'll tease. We have Carl Anthony Towns was in one of our episodes. But that's because Alexis isn't really a part of the basketball realm. So, I that's the name that I know. I saw him on set. I met him on set. He's so nice. He's so nice. But yeah, I can tease Carl Anthony Towns.
Okay. Yeah, you're just that's kind of what I like about your character too, because you're a fan and you're watching this with like the same eye as some of the other people who may watch this show and they're like, okay, I have no idea what a three-pointer is. I do know what a three-pointer is though, all
Yes,
right?
I do know what a three. I did put myself in basketball training for a few months before the show, just in case, because in the book Alexis is a baller. Her favorite basketball player is Skylar Diggs. Skyla, huh? See that? I thought that was really cool.
Interesting. So that's a change they made. They made the
Yeah,
character in the
yeah.
show.
Alexis is more centered around music, and she connects with music rather than her connecting with basketball, because there's a heck of a lot of basketball in this show. So I think they were trying to switch it up and be able to connect with several different audiences, what instead of just making this all about basketball. So they made Alexis more centered with music for sure.
No, that's great, and I love the name, the crossover. It speaks to like more than just basketball. It's the transition from school to home life, the transition, growing up, crossing over from childhood to adulthood. It has so many beautiful different meanings, and that's really kind of what got me into it. I'm like, okay, this is more than just
Yeah,
a basketball show.
yeah, for
So,
sure.
one other thing I wanted to ask you about. Um, you probably heard or saw there's another basketball piece of content hitting Disney Plus. Chang can dunk. Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard of that. I thought you were gonna talk about Big Shot. Big Shot.
Well, Big Shot, I think it just got canceled, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
but
Okay.
it was on Disney Plus. It was another basketball. Disney's going all into basketball, it seems. But there's a show coming out. Oh no, it's not a show. It's a movie called
Mhm.
Chan Can Dunk. It's about an Asian kid who can play basketball, who can dunk, right? And I wanted to ask you, you got this, and then you got your show coming out like 3 weeks later. Do you think now is just a very popular time for these kind of stories? For basketball, like what do you think is so popular about basketball, or do you think it's something deeper? It's about telling these marginalized stories. I guess that's my question.
Yeah, I think honestly because Kwame Alexander, the writer of the book and the show, he originally wrote this book as a way to draw people in, draw young girls, young boys into, they see this guy playing basketball on the cover of the book and they're like, oh, basketball, pick it up, read it, cool. It's to attract these younger audiences. And I think a sport is the best way to do it. I don't know why it's basketball this year, but but I definitely think a sport is a way to connect because there's so many tweens, so many teens play a sport, whether it's volleyball, swimming, golf, tennis, basketball, football, baseball, like we all play sports, and I feel like I'm a volleyball girl myself, but we all play these different sports, and I think that's definitely a way for people to connect with their teammates. Again, family, finding family that is outside of your blood. I think that's important for people today because people today suffer with so many, again, like mental health issues, so being able to uh find that connection with people outside of your home. If your family situation is not the best, you can find people outside of your home that will support you no matter what. And I think sports is the best way to be able to convey that and to be able to show that your team is your family, always, always and forever.
Very well said. I love that. I really do. Um, Final question about the show, right? Like, is there anything I should have asked you? Anything else that you want to say? If you had to pitch people, if they could only watch one show for the rest of the year, and you wanted it to be the crossover, if you had to say why, plead your case, why should people watch this?
People should watch this show because I think it's different than anything that has come out. I mean, we have lots of basketball shows, but again, it's different. It's something completely different, and again, it also like Chank and Dunk. It shows, it stars these brown kids. Our cast is a predominantly brown cast, which I don't think we see that often, and I don't think we were able to get like a predominantly black or predominantly brown cast. I mean, you have the brown characters on the side characters, but to actually focus in on this brown family and how, the black struggle in this show in a fun, lighthearted way, but also get real sometimes. I think that's what you guys should look forward to seeing the lighthearted fun things and also the deep and serious things, and be able to those mesh together in a such a creative and imaginative way.
Agree with you 1,000%. No shade to Disney, right? We both love Disney, but
Yes.
I can count the amount of shows with like brown or black families at the center on like one hand. We're like, that's so Raven. What's the other one? Wizards of Waverly Place, because they're right
Yeah.
there, technically Hispanic. Casey Undercover,
Yeah.
like these are shows, and it's just like now that you say, I'm like, yeah, I know Disney wants to diversify things, but I think what you said is absolutely right. It's a rare show because it showcases people like us. I'm Hispanic, and you're black who struggle. It makes it more relatable, I
Yeah.
guess. Very well said. No, that was great. So, what's next for you? I know this show has not even premiered yet. But you probably get this question. I know it's a question a lot of people in Hollywood get before their current art is even shown to the public. But like, are you working on some other stuff? Has Disney scooped you up for something else? Talk to me.
Yeah, so I'm actually been doing a lot of voiceover work lately for a new animated character. I don't think I can say too much about her, but I am a series regular on a new animated TV series that's going to be coming out on Apple TV. So that's been really a different experience. I just got into voiceover like a year ago, and it it's completely different than TV film, right? Because you have to make sure. I know the hardest thing for me for voiceover is sometimes I eat up my words or I'm talking too fast and da da da. But with voiceover work, like you can't, you have to make sure you pronunciate your words and all of your words, or people are gonna be like, what are you saying? Because they don't have. I mean, they still have the animated characters' lips, but the characters' lips can only move so much, right? So, but yeah, that's super exciting. That I get the opportunity to be like really bring an actual like a 2D character to 3D. So that's really fun.
So that I know a lot of my friends who do voiceover as well, and I've spoken to a lot of voiceover actors. So you get one or two perks. Which one do you get? Do you get to show up to work in your PJs, or do you get to do your stuff from home, or both?
I show up to work in my PJs.
Okay.
Yes. Sometimes I come straight from school. And two, I had to learn too. You have to wear the appropriate clothing. Because the mic is so sensitive.
Oh,
If you wear
yeah.
leather, I remember my first thing. I think I showed up in rain boots and like a crinkly jacket, and they were like, let's take that off. Because they can hear, like, even if I'm just like, hey, da da da, like they could hear the crinkle and the jacket, or if I just reposition my feet, they could hear the little, like, even if I couldn't hear it, the camera could hear, and the microphone could hear everything. So learning about that, like, you should show up in your PJs. Like, that's really what they want. They want that loose clothing, sweatpants, t-shirt, like that's what they want, things that you can work out in. So yeah, that was a different experience.
That's so cool. I never even thought about that. Now it makes sense why people show up in their PJs. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's the appropriate clothing.
And I guess this was more like manifestation, but you're working in voiceover now. Disney does a lot of animation. Do you have a dream project that you would like to work on, animated or otherwise, at Disney?
um I think I just would like to work on something that's new, something that we haven't seen. I think that's what I connect so much with this show, the crossover, and with this new show, that the animated series. They're just completely out of the box. So I really look forward to anything that's out of the box, anything that's new, anything that is eye catching. And I would just love to be a part of any of those projects.
So no Marvel, no stuff. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's
Hey,
a paycheck.
if it comes my way, I will execute.
I hear you. I hear. Was there anything that I should have asked you? Anything else that you want to say or tell us about yourself?
um, Not really. I'm just excited for everybody to see the show, and I'm excited for my career and where this will take me, and yeah. Yeah.
Skyla, you're a very bright star. I cannot wait to see what you do next. Hopefully, we get more news about that animated Apple show sooner rather than later. I'm very excited, like I said, for you and the rest of the cast to see what this show does for you because I think it's going to be a hit. All right.
Yay, that
And I
sounds
wish you
like
the best of luck. Okay.
thank you.
That's it. That's all I have. And yeah, we'll send you the piece when it's live, and you can share it. And you don't have any information about like the embargo, right? Like when people will start releasing reviews. Maybe Nancy might probably,
Yeah,
right?
she'll probably know. Yeah,
Okay.
Nancy. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Skyla. It was a pleasure. And
Absolutely.
like I said, I wish you the best of luck on everything.
Yes, thank you. You as
All
well.
right. Bye.